Hello, my name's Robert Fletcher and I'm the main tutor on this Delta course which we're running here in Krasnodar. I've been asked to answer some questions, and the first one is, how difficult is it to do Delta without CELTA? Okay, I wouldn't say it's more difficult, but it is different, and it is possible. We usually have on every course some people who don't have a CELTA, and on the one hand it means they haven't got any habits which they obtained on the CELTA to get rid of, but on the other hand they lack some of the groundwork, but inevitably they manage to catch up. So I wouldn't say that a CELTA is essential in order to do a Delta. Okay, the next question I have is, how many years of teaching experience do you need to do a Delta? I would say a minimum of 2 or 3 years. You need, on the Delta, you need to be able to talk about your experience, things you've tried in classrooms and things which have worked. So you do definitely need experience, preferably in a private language school with paying clients. So experience is essential. How long is the course? It depends on what course you do. Here in Language Link, we do a 6-week Module 2 course. So that's how long it takes, 6 weeks. Other places do an 8-week course covering some of all 3 modules, and it is possible to do it extensively over a year. Personally, I like the 6-week course because it gets it done and quickly and out of the way. It says here, does it make sense to do Delta if a teacher works one-to-one or online? I think it always makes sense to do a Delta because it makes your teaching more principled. You don't just go through routines, you know exactly what you're doing and why you're doing it and what the justification is for whatever you're doing. The next question I have is, what's the difference between CELTA and Delta? Well, that's like asking what's the difference between apples and oranges. They're completely different. A CELTA is a course which you do at the beginning of your teaching. It lays down the basics, the fundamentals. A Delta is at the level of a master's, so it's something you do after a few years. When you feel that your teaching isn't going anywhere, that's the time to do a Delta, to develop yourself further and go to the next level in your career. 6, the question I have is, why do teachers do them and what's the advantage of having these certificates? Well, in the international forum, it's almost impossible to get a job in teaching English as a foreign language if you haven't got at least a CELTA. CELTA is required all over the world, and in many countries it's a visa requirement. Delta is not a basic requirement, although it's becoming much more of a basic requirement to teach in the UK. Delta is a basic requirement if you wish to go further. For example, a job as a senior teacher, a director of studies, or to eventually become a teacher trainer. You must have the Delta. Now, is there any difference between doing the courses in Russia and abroad? Absolutely not. To me, Russia is abroad because I'm British. So wherever you do it, it's governed by Cambridge. You might get the same tutors anywhere in the world, and it's the same course, so it makes absolutely no difference at all. The important thing is where you're going to be comfortable, what the price is, and so on. So, you know, a Delta is a Delta wherever you go. The next question I have is, what were your impressions from running the course in Language Link? Was the course well organised? Absolutely, yeah. I've run courses here before and the organisation is wonderful. Everything is exactly the way I would want it. The classrooms are modern, clean, pleasant, the students are all nice, and the candidates all qualified at the correct level to do the course. So I would say that Language Link is an excellent place for you to do either your CELTA or Delta certificate.